Hey guys, check it out. You're watching Jonathan Clarke on YouTube. Oh no. So I was a really big fan of Boy Meets World years ago. And when I say a really big fan of Boy Meets World, I was the biggest Boy Meets World fan ever. I think if there was one character from Boy Meets World I had the biggest crush on was Topanga Lawrence. Daniel Fishel's character. By the way, I was heartbroken when I found out she was diagnosed with breast cancer. I think that was last year. My heart goes out to her and her family. But I was a really big fan of Boy Meets World. And I remember one specific episode of Boy Meets World, and if my memory serves me correctly, it was the first episode of Season 4, where Corey asked Topanga if they could stop time so they could be together forever. How many of you remember that? I say that because that is what Descendants: The Rise of Red focused on. Time travel and the consequences of time travel. Now, because that has been taken out of the plot, Ruby Rose Turner is saying goodbye and is not needed for Descendants 5. I am heartbroken over that. I think Ruby Rose Turner's character really brought this one to life in a way that I don't think anyone else could have ever brought it to life. She was so vibrant, she was so exuberant, and she was just so fun to watch. So let me just say this. I am going to miss Ruby Rose Turner. She will never ever be replaced in my heart, and nobody could ever represent the character Bridget the way that she did more effectively. And if they do, I will shake their hands and I will believe it when I see it. Bridget became everybody's favorite character almost instantly, and I fell in love with her seemingly overnight. And I've been crying myself to sleep every single night since I heard the news that was first broke on D23.com that she was saying goodbye. I've wanted Ruby Rose Turner to live in this house for forever so she could help me build game chairs, so she could bake pies for me. Those pies look delicious in The Life is Sweeter When You Are Seen from Descendants: The Rise of Red. I mean, you can't tell me you didn't fall in love with Bridget's character and you didn't fall in love with The Life is Sweeter When You Are song. It was such a powerful message, so beautiful to its core, about how never enough kindness is spread in this lifetime. You know, my mom spent over 30 years teaching in the system, and she taught people in grade 4 and 5. And the constant message that she always went into her classroom with every morning for over 30 years was that there is never enough kindness in this lifetime, and the words "I love you" are never ever said enough. And I concur with that, and that's been my constant message on this podcast for forever, no matter how many times my parents never supported me and said that my dream of being a podcaster was stupid, especially Dad, who always brought the hammer down, like Kratos in God of War, saying, "Boy, stop watching pro wrestling. Boy, stop eating junk food. Boy, stop watching Disney Channel. Boy, go out and get a real job." And I remember Mom trying to teach me the valuable lessons of life every single night when she'd help me with my homework in grades 4 and 5, literally beating everything into my head. And I thank her to this very day for everything that she instilled in my mind, and now I'm kind of relaying her message on this YouTube channel. You know, I was asked years ago on my original podcast, just before it premiered, what was my message going to be to my listeners at the time when you would use Winamp and Shoutcast to stream your voice. And I really didn't have an answer, but I knew that some way or another my message was going to get over a podcast microphone, that there is never enough kindness in this world, and life is definitely sweeter when you are now to this new generation. I've hosted 2 podcasts, and I've been the host of every professional wrestling news podcast that you can think of. I hosted them in Canada, I hosted them for the United States, I hosted them in Germany, I hosted them in Europe through Skype. I had a whole lot of fun. But I have never had this much fun in my entire career, and I've been doing it for over 25 years. It'll be 27 years next year. I'm approaching my 30th anniversary, and I can honestly say from one heart to another, I wouldn't be here tonight if not for each and every one of you. When I thought I had recorded my final podcast 7.5 years ago, hung up the headset for what I believe to have been the final time, you guys stayed with me. It was a long drive home that night. I didn't know where I was going. I didn't know what direction my life was headed in. I had a lot getting in the way. But I never ever forgot who supported me and who stayed with me. You know, some of the very first subscribers that I had subscribed to this YouTube channel are still here with me tonight. And I can't thank you enough for that. Because you guys had a dream, you believed in this YouTube channel, you either had a dream or you believe in this YouTube channel, and you have driven your side-by-side through the woods every single night, and you have found my YouTube channel by clicking on my thumbnail. Some of you accidentally may have clicked on this thumbnail, but I'm really thankful that you did, because there are a lot of mysterious Descendants videos that are themed around the concept popping up on YouTube every couple of hours on YouTube, because they are capitalizing on what Descendants has attracted. And Descendants has attracted so many people from all walks of life. I want to let you guys know that I will never ever let you down. I will never ever quit on you if you just take a chance on this YouTube channel, because I love Descendants and Zombies just as much as each and every one of you do. I can't say the same thing for the AI videos that are being uploaded on these mysterious channels. Just the other night I saw a video with the Mad Hatter, a really creepy thumbnail. Please refrain from watching it. I just saw one of the latest Descendants videos, a teaser trailer they're claiming it is. It runs for about 7.5 minutes, talking about everything from old Descendants characters returning to the franchise, now making a cameo, to this is going to happen, that is going to happen. Let me just say this. Everybody can predict what's going to happen for Descendants Wicked Wonderland, but nobody knows what is going to happen. They can say this about the games, they can say this about conflict between Red and her sister, they can say this about Red's interest from one of the books of Descendants when it comes to love, but I mean, they don't even understand anything about love. They're too young. And many of you don't understand a whole lot about love too, so they're not really going to go full throttle with this kind of thing. I really wish people would refrain from the criticism that these Descendant stars have been subjected to. People on podcasts that you may have never heard of, talking about people like Chloe and Red and Bridget, how she's leaving the franchise. I'm broken-hearted enough. I've heard enough of it. I ultimately drew the conclusion one night when I was thinking about Descendants that you guys deserve better. You deserve not only better about Descendants, but you deserve better about zombies. I mean, we've heard all the conversation about Dove Cameron reprising her role as Mel, people, keeping their hopes up that we could see her make a cameo, if anything. But I think the door is pretty much closed on that. In this new trailer that is making the rounds on YouTube, you will see about how Dove Cameron is supposedly going to make a cameo, and how people are supposed to keep their hopes up that we will see Dove Cameron reprise her role as Mel. That is not going to happen. If you've been watching any podcast or heard any of Dove Cameron's promotion, when asked a question about Descendants, when posed it on a podcast microphone for virtually each and every single one of them, if not promoting too much, part 2 of the Alchemical album from 2 years ago, she just simply says, unfortunately, she will not be a part of Descendants 5. She loved the original cast dearly, she loved the original trilogy dearly, and she believed that they had told the story and they had completed it. I firmly believe that they did not tell a story and they did not complete it. They just used Cameron Boyce's death as an excuse to close the book on what was something that probably should have never had the book close on it, and how they, pay respect to Cameron Boyce's by having about a 2-minute long tribute with Uma saying this is what Carlos would have wanted in Descendants: The Rise of Red. I've also heard up to 45-minute long reviews of Descendants where people have just jumped down the throats of fans of Descendants saying that the movie let them down, this happened in the movie they didn't like, more things they didn't like about the movie than what they did. I wonder sometimes if critics are sick and tired of repeating themselves over and over and over again. Again, I'll concur with what I said on virtually every podcast that I've thrown up on my archives. You guys deserve better. And as a YouTube creator, it is somewhat challenging. There are 2 great challenges that are somewhat very challenging as a YouTube creator. One of those challenges is to get you to find the thumbnail, click on the thumbnail, go to my channel and hit the subscribe button. So you not only have to have somebody hit your subscribe button, you have to have somebody hit your thumbnail. And your content has to be enthralling, it has to be engaging, and it has to be funny for the people who appreciate Descendants and Zombies. And that is what has separated this YouTube channel time and time again from everybody else who has just merely capitalized on what you love and tried to drag you in through enthralling thumbnails, decisive descriptions, and somewhat deceitful videos. I want to apologize to each and every one of you who have found videos that have really let you down in lamest terms, because that's what they have achieved. They have achieved nothing more than letting you down time and time again, and that really breaks my heart, because I've been a huge fan of Descendants for the better part of 10 years, and I don't know, I've watched Descendants probably about 100 times over each individual installment, from the original trilogy to this new spin-off series, which there is so much of an opportunity left to create with or without the Bridget character, whom I'm going to miss dearly and have a broken heart over every single night that I shut my eyes. Honestly, if I were to be very to the point with each and every one of you, I can't think of a night that I haven't cried myself to sleep knowing that Bridget is not going to be a part of this, because originally I thought that she was going to be a part of it until Clarke mentioned on one of her TikTok live streams to a fan, or the fan, I can't remember actually what happened. Either she mentioned it to the fan, or the fan posed the question to her in the scenario of doing Descendants 5 in Vancouver, which is a beautiful place on location. The fan, I think, posed the question to her about how do you feel about doing Descendants 5 Wicked Wonderland without Ruby? And she said she didn't know how she was going to do it or manage. And I feel the same kind of way, if not worse, as a fan, because I was the biggest Ruby Rose Turner fan in the world. One of the biggest reasons was because there is something we can take away from her character or characters on Disney Channel that sometimes we often forget about. Sometimes we take different characters for granted, and I think that Bridget's character is going to be one that's going to be dearly missed because of how much of a positive influence she's had on so many people. Her character as the young Queen of Hearts was bullied. And I'm sure if you're not someone who is bullied, you know somebody who was bullied throughout high school. High school was an awful experience for me on times. I was pushed into lockers. I was thrown into garbage cans. I was pushed up against walls. I was tripped up. Everything that you could think of possibly that could have ever happened to a guy wearing glasses happened to me. But you know what I did? To counteract that, I went to school every single day with a positive attitude. I treated people the way that I wanted to be treated and perceived. And ultimately, at the end of the day, even though probably 500 kids didn't like me, or some girl couldn't stand me, ultimately I came out on the other side of the spectrum feeling better about myself because I wasn't treating people the way that they were treating me. I went to school, I got my education, I achieved my goal of being one of the greatest podcasters of all time, and nearly 25 years later, after graduating in June of 2004, that was over 20 years ago, I am sitting here on this podcast, and there is no place in the world I would rather be than spreading my message of positivity to each and every one of you to inspire you to become a YouTube creator yourself or to accomplish and achieve each and every one of your dreams. Because let me tell you this. I know I say this time and time again on my podcast, but every single dream is achievable no matter what the dream is. I really don't care what your dream is. It could be being a part of the wrestling team. It could be a part of being the hockey team. It could be a part of being the volleyball team. Whatever that dream is, cheerleading squad, you can achieve any dream possible. All you have to do is to hold on to that dream and believe in it. I spent the majority of my time in high school from, I think it was September of 2002 up until June of 2004, because I graduated on June 27, 2004. I missed wrestling that night so I could go to the prom. But missing SmackDown on Thursday nights years ago was a big crime for wrestling fans. But I remember my prom. I had no date. I was a real nerd. But I knew on that night I achieved my dream of accomplishing everything that I wanted to achieve up until that point that I graduated from high school. I didn't let anybody hold me down. I know it's easier said than done for a lot of people. I know it's easier said than done for a lot of people to achieve acceptance in this life. But again, if I've said it 100 times over this podcast, saying it for the 101st time will not harm me in saying that every dream is possible and you should never let anybody hold you back from achieving your dream. I wish that there was a lot of magic and I could go back and fix some of the mistakes that I made, probably make friends with more people than I ever had the opportunity to do. But the thing is, I fell in with a group of people, a very beautiful group of people that may have consisted of probably 10 people. But I always had a firm belief that you didn't need a whole lot of friends to achieve your goals in life. All you had to do was have a couple of people supporting you. And if you had 3 or 4 friends, and you can keep, the secret of life is simply this. If you can keep that one girl or that one guy that supports you no matter what happens in your life and whatever circumstances you are faced with, or you can keep those same 2 or 3 girlfriends or 2 or 3 guy friends and go through your entire life with that one person who supports you, having their head on your shoulder at the end of every single day, that is what ultimately matters at the end of the day every single time that sun sets. And just as sure as this breeze is coming in through my window tonight, you guys have supported me on times that I felt like I never had anybody. You Descendants fans and you Zombies fans are what created this YouTube channel, the reason why it exists, and the reason why after I thought I was done 7.5 years ago and had hung up my headset for the final time, why I am back. You seemingly brought me back from obscurity. I may have went away for a while, exploring distant lands, like Dove Cameron, Sophia Carson, Boo Boo Stewart did for the conclusion of Descendants. That's a movie in its own right. I think seeing what would happen with Dove Cameron, Sophia Carson, Boo Boo Stewart going to explore distant lands as another spin-off from the original trilogy would be an amazing experience in its own right. I would love to have seen that. I also would love to have seen the characters from The Rise of Red, or even characters that were never seen in introduction, had never seen an introduction in Descendants, being a part of a series called Ordon, focusing on the stories behind the characters that attended Ordon Prep, which of course Uma was the principal of. Yeah, Uma was a character that I just couldn't stand. I was somebody who subjected China Anne McClain to her fair share of criticism, because there was just something about her being a psychotic Ninja Turtle, or coming off as one at least, that really bothered me. But I think that Descendants saw a lot of great stars like Brandy, Rita Ora. It was so cool seeing Brandy coming back to reprise her role as Cinderella. I remember that 1997 classic. It ultimately became one of everybody's favorites. I mean, I've had a lot of favorite movies over the years. The Princess Diaries, The Princess Bride, and this one, of course, the Cinderella remake. Amazing. When you compare the two to Cinderella from 2015 to this original one from 1997, there are a lot of differences, like how the dress that Cinderella wore in 2015 was made of fabric that if you were to spread it across a sidewalk, it would take you 45 minutes to walk. It wouldn't even reach the end of my sidewalk, and there would be more to extend off of it. The detail was obviously far more extravagant than what we saw from the original one, but everybody reverts back to the original classics, like for instance Hocus Pocus. I know we've got Hocus Pocus 2, Hocus Pocus 3 is in development, just as Beetlejuice 3 is in development also, from I believe Warner Brothers. I saw that earlier today. But everybody goes back to watching the original Hocus Pocus, and everybody has been caught at one point or another in their life watching the original Descendants cast. I also want to put it out there too. I know I haven't been giving a lot of attention to the original Descendants cast because I'm trying to reintroduce my content to this whole new generation to help them understand and make sense of what's happening on the internet, because a lot of you probably don't understand what's happening. It is really cruel what happens on YouTube with the YouTube algorithm, and I say this because what they do is they say take the Rise of Red franchise. So what they will do is they will create a video and upload a video to a YouTube channel that may have 3 or 4 videos. Now what they do following the upload of a 7-minute video comprised of AI technology, which is basically a default script, probably a 7-minute long video comprised of faulty Descendants footage and false promises. They will upload it to the YouTube channel. Now here's the catch what they will do. They will distribute their thumbnail, say the Creepy Mad Hatter or Red and Chloe, and then they will fill their YouTube channel up with false subscribers. So what they will do after uploading false subscribers to the YouTube channel, which are pretty much just bots, that affects the YouTube algorithm. So if you have 25,000 bots subscribed to a YouTube channel, it pushes that video out into the algorithm and affects the algorithm, and that is why if you're searching up Descendants, The Rise of Red, it is always popping up. And I don't want that for you, because the YouTube algorithm is being affected by 25,000 bots. If you're searching up Descendants and Zombies, you deserve the best content possible. Someone should go out of their way and make a consistent effort to provide you with the content that you want to hear. I don't ever want you to hear about Kylie Contrell's political point of view from some idiot who doesn't understand anything about Kylie Contrell or Kylie Contrell's political point of view, which should be left out of the conversation. Bridget is leaving Descendants. Can we please leave it at that? She was a beautiful character who conveyed such a powerful image with millions of fans, but let me just say this, 1.5 million followers on Facebook and 460,000 followers on Facebook is a total disappointment for Kylie Contrell, because Kylie Contrell deserves a hell of a lot better than what she's getting. And Ruby Rose Turner deserves a hell of a lot better than what she's getting. I remember being such a huge fan of Ruby Rose Turner and watching her be heartbroken after being turned down for specific roles. I have loved Kylie Contrell for forever. I love Ruby Rose Turner forever, and I'm in the same boat as each and every one of you. I think that they deserve a hell of a lot more credit than what they've been getting. I'm not sure if Ruby is a part of the tour this summer, but she should be, because of how authentic that number was. Life is Sweeter When You Are. There are more fans of Descendants than ever given credit for. Over 10 million plus have gravitated to all social media platforms, regardless if it's Facebook, X, TikTok, which I've become really thankful for because there are so many Descendants videos on TikTok, which are absolutely gorgeous, beautiful. I know some of them may run for only about a minute and a half to 5 minutes in length, but the detail is great. I love seeing your Descendants fan or two, guys. It's gorgeous. It's beautiful how you authenticate these videos and you separate it from other Descendants content out there, forgetting about these faulty Descendants YouTube channels that you find. So about a year and a half ago, I became very frustrated about how you guys were being treated and misled on YouTube, and I wanted to create something special for you. Not only create something special for you, but have an authentic message on this YouTube channel, which pretty much was this: any dream is possible. All you have to do is believe in that dream, and that happily ever after and fairy tales do exist. I don't know about you guys, but I loved reading the original Cinderella. I loved reading the original Sleeping Beauty. Some of these classics go all the way back to the 16th century, as early as the 16th century, anywhere from that to the 18th century. And Walt Disney drew inspiration from that. Let me just say this. I think that you can't beat the original princesses like Aurora, Snow White, The Little Mermaid, who I wish had a daughter. Maybe they could have Melody be a part of the Descendants franchise. Again, going back to how people are saying that they're running out of characters for both Descendants and Zombies, don't ever believe that, because they could have Ariel daughter, Melody be a part of it. They could have Hercules have a son or a daughter be a part of it. I was campaigning for a while to be Hercules' son or something in Descendants. That would have been cool. Probably Hades' son or something. I know that Descendants: The Rise of Red focused on Maleficent and Hades when they were teenagers, giving a bit of a backstory, which I really appreciated, because some of these characters, such as Evie, had no backstory, and man, oh man, did Sophia Carson ever do a phenomenal job with a character that had no backstory whatsoever. Because you remember the original Evil Queen from Snow White, she had no backstory whatsoever. Now, I know Snow White was a flop in the box office. Rachel Zegler didn't do her any justice whatsoever, and I was probably the only guy on the internet that ever found anything nice to say about Snow White. I'm really the only guy that has anything nice to say about Disney these days, unless you're a real diehard fan of Descendants or Zombies, which, by the way, if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, please do it. Because I honestly think you guys deserve better. You don't need to hear about how Descendants has reached its final chapter, its climax, what have you, and they're saying goodbye. I loved how they shot it here in Vancouver, British Columbia. For those of you who have not been to British Columbia in the summertime, the water is exceptionally beautiful and warm there. So I know from being there and my mom spending the majority of her teaching career there on times, it is gorgeous there. I know they had a lot of fun. I would have preferred, though, they would have shot Descendants here, because the scenery here in Newfoundland is absolutely gorgeous. I would have loved for them to have come here to live. I would have given them this house. I would have hooked up reciprocal lights in the kitchen. Ruby Rose Turner and Clarke and Clarke could have danced on my kitchen counter, probably blew up my kitchen baking pies. Rube could have played PlayStation 5, and we could have had a whole lot of fun. Let me just say this. If I had access to over $158 billion in revenue for Disney, you would see so much done with this. You would see a TV series. You would see endless amounts of Descendants movies created, and you would see characters premiering in this that are a far cry from Robin Hood and the Son of Encanto and the Nephews of Smee, characters that pretty much just make no sense. Where are the descendants of Tinkerbell? Where is the descendant of the Little Mermaid? Where's Melody? There are so many questions that have left to be posed and answered. I shouldn't say posed, but answered from Descendants. Pretty much that's how you decipher these videos from what's real and what's AI, because the videos make no sense. And my heart goes out to each and every one of you. From my heart to yours, you guys deserve better than what you've been hearing. I'm really going to miss Ruby Rose Turner, and it goes without saying I'm going to miss Dove Cameron too, because she's been a victim of criticism. Everybody was saying Dove Cameron gave up on her career last year until she reemerged out of the abyss, and she proved everybody wrong. And I think these Descendant stars, they still have a long way to go, but they're going to prove everybody wrong no matter what way you want to look at it, no matter what way you want to cut the cake. I know the color schemes were well overdone, really overdone for Descendants, but they drove home a point that everybody has had maintained for forever. Bridget's character was pink, so she was going to wear all pink. Chloe Sharman's character was all blue, so she was going to wear all blue. They stick with the color scheme, but the director really knew what she was doing, and the flow of the music made it feel like more of a musical since High School Musical than ever before. One of the most, if not the most successful Disney franchise of all time, which of course the record is held by High School Musical. I know that I've been seeing a lot of Miley Cyrus videos today, herself and her dad, Billy Ray Cyrus, of course, songs like Ready, Set, Don't Go, and I Learned From You. Beautiful, beautiful songs. Love the Let's Go from Hannah Montana Forever when Blue Jeans died. I think that was the 6th episode of Season 4 of Hannah Montana Forever. If there ever was a guy who was a huge fan of Hannah Montana, it was this guy right here. I had the biggest crush on Hannah Montana. I also had a really big crush on Topanga from Boy Meets World, as I mentioned here earlier, Danielle Fishel. My heart goes out to her. But, you know, it was a real cool time to be a fan of Disney years ago when Hannah Montana was at the heights of its popularity, because she was the start of what was called the Disney Channel Revolution, because characters portrayed by Miley and Selena and Demi even were great characters. But I remember how popular Hannah Montana was from 2006 to 2011, and she just blew up with superstardom. If the word superstardom could ever have been associated with anybody, it was Miley Cyrus. And now they're saying that Miley was not allowed to sing Hannah Montana songs after she parted ways with the Disney company, which I can understand because of trademark and copyright. But let me just say this. Miley is a Disney legend, and if there was one person that I could choose to replace Miley Cyrus, it would be Kylie Cantrell, just based off of some of the stuff I've been seeing on social media from her. My heart goes out to Kylie Cantrell. I don't think she deserves any criticism whatsoever for not being a Trump supporter. If anything, she has inspired me to throw my name into that running for the President of the United States and start my own presidential campaign, which you can vote for by hitting the subscribe button. Once I get my citizenship in the United States, I don't see anything wrong with that, because I'm pretty much the only guy that can beat Donald Trump in a campaign race. And let me just say this. If I do become President of the United States, Disney stars and Nickelodeon stars will be treated fairly, and a hell of a lot better than what they have been. They never ever deserved the criticism that they got, because they still have so much to learn. Now, a lot of them learn a lot really fast, like Miley Cyrus did years ago. She was criticized for learning so much so quickly at a young age, at just 11 years old. I remember when herself and Emily Osment really didn't have a lot of chemistry, but it was never Miley's fault. They pointed the finger of blame at Miley so many times. It was because Emily believed that the series was revolving too much around Miley Cyrus. There was too much significance thrown on her character, and everybody was seemingly being overshadowed. But Miley just had so much of a passion for what she believed in. She never thought she would get the role of Hannah Montana after originally auditioning for the role of Lily Truscott, the best friend of Hannah Montana. Probably Emily Osment was the original cast for Hannah Montana. I don't know, but I don't know how many people they turned down before they chose Miley to be it. I remember seeing her, become the Disney legend she became, accepting the award herself, and a lot of people were there to accept the award. What's the guy's name that I'm thinking of? Harrison Ford was there with her too, and he witnessed it. Everybody witnessed it. Everybody was so supportive of her. I was the biggest Miley Cyrus fan in the world, but if there was one person that I could pick to be the next Hannah Montana, or the Hannah Montana of this generation, it would definitely have to be hands down Kylie Cantrell. Beautiful, beautiful person. I don't think she deserves any of the criticism that she has been subjected to. Like I said, can we please leave Kylie Cantrell's political point of view out of the conversation? I'll probably be saying this again tomorrow night on my Saturday night podcast for Descendants or Zombies. Meg Donnelly's seen her fair share of criticism too, because she just came in as a theater kid. She sucked at sports. She got the role of Addison on Zombies, and Zombies had this very powerful message of standing up for what you believe in too. And don't take any shit from anybody. And it was just an amazing experience seeing these two franchises inspire so many people. It really did. And Meg Donnelly eventually became so open about her battles with anxiety and depression, which I can't even begin to explain to each and everybody of you how much of a constant struggle that is. Because someone suffering with anxiety, I don't know if anybody is suffering with anxiety who may be watching this podcast, but my heart goes out to each and every one of you who may be suffering with it, either anxiety or panic attacks, because it is a constant struggle having to endure this kind of thing, and especially more so watching the people that you love have to go through this kind of thing. It is a difficult challenge to have to overcome, and I have all the respect in the world for Meg Donnelly being the popular actress that she is, and having to go through that and endure that every single time. She's speaking out about it now, and I have all the respect in the world for her. And let me just say this about her too: just 1 million followers even on Facebook does not do her justice on Facebook, X, or Instagram. She needs more than that. If Dove Cameron can put up 7 million people on social media, Kylie Clarke can put up at least 5 million. To Brenda Song's 5 million, or Ashley Tisdale's 18.5 million. It is unbelievable. So, what we are faced with Descendants and Zombies at the end of the day, this YouTube channel is up against 15 million critics. But I know because of the support that you guys have given this YouTube channel has become one of the greatest of all time, and if not the greatest Descendants and Zombies YouTube channel of all time. I don't know what. Seriously, from my heart to yours, guys, on this beautiful evening, every night since I've been shooting this podcast, it's been gorgeous outside. I'll be back again tomorrow night. I don't know where I'd be without each and every one of you. My heart goes out to each and every one of you Descendants fans who have believed in it so much wholeheartedly from the very beginning. Some of you probably have been Descendants fans for the better part of 10 years, and then here comes Zombies on February 16th, 2018, and blows up and inspires me to want to be a vampire slayer. And if you hit the subscribe button, maybe you can make that dream possible for me, because I haven't killed a vampire in at least 20 years for sure. I'm the first guy to kill a vampire in over 100 years. I've been drop kicking them off library bookshelves. I've been hunting them in haunted graveyards for forever that my friends would abandon me in when I was a teenager. I've done stuff with Buffy the Vampire Slayer before. One of my very good friends who was an extra vampire on that series back in 97 through 98 passed away with his battle with cancer, a very extensive one. So I'm kind of ready to get back into the swing of things. I know they've been teasing that Red's going to have a love interest in Descendants 5, Wicked Wonderland. We'll wait and see what happens. One of the guys from the books, the Isle of the Lost book or series or something, is going to be her interest. We'll see what happens. I've been kind of campaigning for that. Either that or Addison's love interest as a vampire slayer, because I could, I don't know, kick a whole lot of ass. I don't know. But let me just say this. You guys have never quit on what you believe in. And because you've never quit on what you believe in, you don't deserve to hear criticism, and you deserve to hear only the best. And I have strived to create that for each and every one of you. When I first moved into this house, beautiful location, beautiful landscape, I thought to myself, what could I create to inspire so many people to create their own YouTube or to better their own lives and to convey a positive message of how anything is possible, point blank. I go to Booster Juice every single day. I go to Dairy Queen every single day. I go to the mall and watch movies every single day. If not every single day, every 2 weeks, let me say this. And I just pretty much upload the video. I don't put anything specific into it, not a detailed description, a couple of hashtags, because you pretty much got to put your video out there, because they'll stop you if you don't and won't allow you to upload the video, so you got to do that. So I upload these videos. I don't put anything at all behind in the way of promotion or marketing, and I just go away to Booster Juice, try to figure out if the guy who owns the Booster Juice franchise is actually named Booster. Try a Blizzard for my hand on my Blizzard or something at Dairy Queen, and I come back. And lo and behold, I probably got 100 views on a video. And if I don't, I'll try again the next day until the algorithm picks it up. Because pretty much what you're watching on YouTube are a bunch of guys filling up their YouTube channels with a bunch of bots to affect the algorithm and getting you to click on the video. So please don't do that. If anything, park your side by side here and listen to my critique opinion about Descendants. I was a theater kid forever, and I had so much fun doing it. I loved playing with the smoke machines. I loved writing the scripts. I loved producing stage productions like Dracula and Hamlet and Romeo and Juliet. Romeo and Juliet was a beautiful book. A beautiful, beautiful book that I remember studying the stage production for. I could never understand why they shot each other at the end of the movie, but it was so beautiful having the opportunity to be a stage, have a hand at theater production. One of the greatest pieces of advice that I ever gave anybody in drama was this: if the audience loves you, they're gonna let you know about it. If the audience hates you, they're also gonna let you know about it. And the people who took my advice went out there and became some of the greatest actors of all time. But you have to believe in yourself as an actor or an actress. Do you think that Disney came knocking on the doors of Kylie Clarke? Do you think Disney came knocking on the doors of Dove Cameron and Sophia Carson? No. They went out, they attracted a lot of attention through the talent they had from music or being an actress and wanting to act, and they got the opportunity. You have to go looking for attention. And as difficult as that may seem to be, that's pretty much what you have to do, because nobody is going to come to you and hand you that opportunity. And most importantly, you cannot quit on what you believe in. That is the most important thing about being an actor or an actress. And that's the greatest piece of advice that I could ever give anybody. Go out there, be yourself, and if the audience loves you, they're going to let you know about it. If the audience doesn't love you, they are pretty much going to let you know about that too. The same thing I learned in the wrestling industry years ago when creating characters and through studying character development, because there was something in pro wrestling called psychology, which you pretty much had to have down pat. And very few people in the wrestling industry back in the 80s and 90s didn't have that. And very few actors and actresses actually, that was a very difficult concept for a lot of people to grasp. So the actresses that we're seeing in Descendants now are far more talented than what we saw 30 years ago. Definitely far more talented than 30 years ago. I don't even think Rita Ora or Brandy ever thought we'd get to the point where we'd see such talents like Ruby Rose Turner and Kylie Cantrell inspiring so many people from so many walks of life. It's amazing. It is absolutely incredible how many people have been inspired by Descendants. I love seeing young girls knocking on my door every year dressed up as their favorite Descendants characters. I see nothing wrong with that. And I see nothing wrong with each and every one of you being fans of either Descendants or Zombies or both franchises. Here's another opportunity we have put in front of us that Disney has yet to capitalize on. Yes, they share the same stage for a Worlds Collide tour, but how come they're not sharing the same stage or set for a movie where Descendants and Zombies come together too? That would be an amazing experience. Seeing a TV series called Oradon or something along those lines would be amazing too. A phenomenal experience. So this story, at the end of the night, is far from over, and we still have a long way to go. And I hope that you come along with me on what's been an incredible journey for each and every one of us together, as we are in the same boat as Descendants and Zombies fans, and obviously Die Hard. I have this to say to each and every one of you who never quit on me. Thank you for making me the voice of Descendants and Zombies for the better part of the last 10 years. Thank you so much for making me the voice of Disney. What do you say we watch this video together? I am really excited to watch this video with you guys for what I believe is the first time ever. It's an interview where they were doing a lot of PR to promote the rise of Red. And I think this interview actually features Kylie Cantrell and Mila Baker. And if you haven't subscribed to this YouTube channel, you're going to want to do that to stay up to date. Ring my bell to stay up to date with notifications every single time I upload a video to my archives. You're going to want to watch this one. It's an amazing YouTube channel that I think a lot of people are going to find a whole lot of fun.
I think I think that's the way, I think that's the way we're similar, which is, yeah, no.
There's a whole new audience that's going to start watching this. There's a whole new audience that's going to play catch up, and rightfully so. And like you mentioned, you've been watching this from the beginning. So congrats on the rose. Let's hope you can come back again for whatever the story may be. You never know. This is a franchise that never dies. So take care of yourselves. Congrats again.
Let me just say this. The chemistry that we see between Kylie Cantrell and Mila Baker as Red and Chloe Charming is absolutely incredible. But for the life of me, I don't know how you can do Descendants without Ruby Rose Turner. It's taking place in present-day Wonderland. We know that. We don't know if the Cup Games are going to be happening, what kind of plot twists and turns this one will see. It has yet to be revealed, because very few info has been dropped in the teaser trailers. But let me just say this. For the life of me, I don't know how you can do this without specific characters, but Disney's always had a unique ability to be able to pull this off, and they're going to be able to pull it off when we least expect it. I'm still putting it out there that I want to be either the Prince in Descendants or a vampire slayer in Zombies 4, Dawn of the Vampires. I am not closing the book on Descendants 6. I am not closing the book on Zombies 5, no matter how many times we hear about how they're running out of supernatural creatures for zombies or fairy tale characters for Descendants. Study folk literature, and you will learn a lot about trolls, witches, and goblins, and characters that have yet to see their introductions into these two franchises. I mean, Disney has created, the reality of it is hundreds of characters, from Stitch to Hercules to Hades to Buzz Lightyear and Woody from Toy Story, Sully and Mike from Monsters Incorporated, Elsa and Anna from Frozen, characters that have inspired our lives and dramatically impacted them for forever. So for those of you who may be watching other YouTube channels and may have subscribed to them that are saying that the story is over and we're running out of supernatural creatures and fairy tale characters, please don't ever believe it, and keep your side-by-side parked here and locked on this YouTube channel for the most amazing Descendants and Zombies videos that you will find and hear anywhere on YouTube. This is an amazing YouTube channel, and thank you so much for being a part of it and being a part of my life. If anything, thank you for allowing me to be a part of your life as an everyday individual or a part of your family's lives. Thank you so much for allowing me the opportunity to come into your lives as the voice of Descendants and Zombies and the voice of Disney on this incredible YouTube channel. This is my second podcast I've hosted solely on YouTube. I've been the co-host of a lot of shows over the years, and I always wanted my own opportunity to break away from being a co-host, because it's very challenging to be a co-host because you're pretty much putting over the host of the show and you're not giving enough credit for what you do as the producer, because there's a lot of stuff that happens behind the scenes. There's a lot that goes into creating a show for you guys, and I like to believe that I've done the best possible for each and every one of you. So if you think this YouTube channel is cool, you think this guy is really sweet, please hit the subscribe button. I would love for you to come along with me on this incredible journey, this incredible ride that I can't thank you enough, never enough, for being a part of. So what do you say we go spread some kindness on this beautiful evening? I will be back again tomorrow night. This is the perfect opportunity to spread some kindness right about now. Bye, YouTube. We will do it again tomorrow night.